Ladies and gentlemen, the unusual artistry of Sid Croft.
Whoa, what a day today. Thank you so much for joining me. You know, February 13th, 2 years ago, today, we got our star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. 900 people showed up. They've never seen anything like it. It just blew us totally away. And, you know, it was a beautiful day. I remember that, but it was cold. And I'm not the weatherman. And please, please don't blame me because Los Angeles is 90 degrees today. What? 90 degrees. Yeah, and on top of it, as I said, it's a huge, huge day for California because, wow, that new beautiful stadium, SoFi, I can see it from my house. And, you know, it's right close to the ocean, and I can't see people jamming into it, but I can see the roof of it.
And you're going to see the fireworks?
And we'll see the fireworks later. Hey, thank you, Kelly. And, you know, it's like LA is explosive today. Everybody's so excited. And may the best team win. Okay, so I know kickoff is in about 30 minutes. And Kelly and myself thought that we would all watch kickoff together. So we're all set up. I'm in my kitchen, well, you know, and
stressing him out for the day, a new place.
Well, it's a new place, and you know, and I just for a moment didn't feel that comfortable, but it was too late. It was 2 minutes to 3, so just deal with it. Okay, so I thought, and Kelly thought, that today, for our first half, that we would have the most hysterical Dixie Longate is going to come on, and she's joining me, and perfect for today, because, as we all know, she drinks a lot.
It's a tailgate!
And that's a perfect day. You know, I saw a picture of her living room. She sent me a Christmas card. I think it was a Christmas card. And she was in her living room, and there were bottles of booze, not beer bottles, just booze, just scattered all over the room. So I wonder what that means. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, I just can't wait. Dixie Longate. Showtime, girl, come on down.
It's a Tupperware and
oh my God.
And a tailgate party.
Yeah.
Hi, sweetheart. How are you, darling? How's everything?
Oh my God, I'm great. Thank you so much.
All right, I got to say a couple things right off the bat. I was watching the feed, and I saw that Pee Wee Herman came on, and Pee Wee's still on. Let him know I'm a giant fan of his, and Alex Timbers, who directed him on Broadway, also directed me when I did my show off Broadway, Dixie's Story. So it's something in common. Like, we have probably a lot of things in common. Like, we probably are really both good at a pogo stick, and we're probably really good at like folding ourselves in small spaces under people's beds and do that stuff. So I don't think we have that much that's just similar. But I saw him come on. I also saw somebody named Bobby in Winnipeg that came on, and it's 23 below. Bobby, leave. What are you doing? Can you imagine? It's 90 degrees there today, Sid. And in Alabama,
90.
I think it's like 78. It was rainy. You know how it is when you go out. And not so much go outside, but when you're locked out because you don't know where your keys are because you forgot them at a bar and you're trying to get in your own window. And then you know the police that come up. They're like, what are you doing breaking in? And then they recognize your ass and they're like, oh, it's you. And I'm like, yes, it's me. You know how it is. But
Dixie, don't you live in shit kicking country?
I do.
You know?
I'm in Mobile.
Mobile.
Alabama. Yes.
And it's and what is the degree? How hot is it?
It's
there?
78 degrees today. It's nice. It's nice. And this is the good time of year because it's not too humid. And we don't have any of the bugs that fly in your hair. Like, you know, when you're out having sex with somebody and all of a sudden like a bunch of bugs come out of your hair because somebody like runs their hands through your hair. And then all of a sudden you're like, oh my God, a gnat or a katydid or like pizza from last night, whatever it is. It's like a lot, you know. So I'm always grateful for this time of the year because it's not that hot. You can put on like a light jacket, like something denim. And it doesn't have to be like denim with a lot of straps so somebody can like put you on the back of a car, you know, where the gun rack is. And like, then you can't get away. But like that nice kind where they're like, oh, or whatever. Also, I heard you say at the beginning of this, you said 2 years ago that you got your Hollywood Walk of Fame star, that 900 people showed up and you said it blew you away. I gotta say, 2 years ago, 900 people showed up at my trailer because I opened up the window and then everybody came into the bedroom and I was blown, not away, but I was blown a lot. So it's like one of those things. So I think we are like the same person. You and I are celebrating a lot together. Congratulations again on that Walk of Fame star. That's incredible.
It is incredible. I mean, there's so many unbelievable, talented people out there. And for us to get a star on the Walk of Fame and all those people showing up, they never saw anything like it.
I know. Well, because you probably brought your puppets, or you thought you brought your puppets and you didn't, but you just did that same thing with your hands, which is really crafty. So I like that.
Well, that's what they call me, Crafty Croft. That is so good that you put those two things together.
And what do they call you when you're not in the bedroom?
Oh my God! Then it would be X-rated. There might be children watching.
It's X-rated out of the bedroom. That's what he just said.
Yeah, did you know? I noticed that too, Kelly. He didn't really pick up.
You know, we haven't shot the show up in my bedroom yet, but the whole.
But that's gonna be a nighttime show.
Wait a minute.
You got to get your hand stamped to go to that show.
No, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Don't be ahead of me. The whole ceiling opens up. It opens up like this. The whole ceiling. And I've had it open for the last week because it's been so hot here. But we can't complain. It's a little scary in February to have 90 degrees or 85 degrees. And I just wish, please, if it would just rain next week.
But then you couldn't keep your skylight open.
Exactly. You couldn't keep your ceiling open. I have a similar thing. I have a hole in the floor underneath my bed I have, well, it's the raccoons come up through it, so I had to get something covered up. So a friend of mine used to work at a record store, so I have like a giant Linda Ronstadt cutout that we put down there, and it blocks the raccoons from getting in. So it's like the same thing, but yours is on top of you and mine's underneath. But it reminds me all the time of how talented Linda Ronstadt is, even though it's a cardboard cutout underneath the bed, nobody sees it, but she's just stinking talented. You know how that is.
Well, talk about talent. Okay, let me ask everybody out there. Have you ever seen Dixie's show live? It's the most hysterical. It's a night that you just don't forget. And can you believe she sells Tupperware? Tupperware. Should we do it? I want to
rub up in your leg like a dog licking up peanut butter. You are the sweetest, nicest man in the world. I adore you.
You are brilliant. Just brilliant.
Well, and thank you. And I'm actually coming back. I've got a brand new show. You know, everything's been quiet over the last couple of years because of coronavirus. And then, so I have a new show that's starting out. It's going to open April 2nd in Fort Worth, and it's doing one-nighters on these big art centers all over the country. We're getting all the stuff programmed right now. But the funny thing is about the show was called Shit Kicker. And then I had to change the name of the show because there were a couple art centers that like, well, we can't really promote a show that we can't say the title of. I'm like, that's kind of the best reason to have it. And they're like, well, we can't really do that. So I had to change the name from Shit Kicker. It's now called Cherry Bombs and Bottle Rockets because, you know, that's just going to be called. So it's the impact of the title is a little bit less than I wanted, but I got to do that to make sure that everybody's going to win it. But yeah.
And you know what? The opening, I'm sure when you walk out and get all that ovation, you should tell the story. I'm sorry. they wouldn't let me use the title of chick picker. And I know that this theater is full of chick pickers.
I am.
You know, that's your opening. I just rewrote.
That is exactly what I'm doing. You're reading my mind. You're like Alexa.
So let me ask you something.
Help.
Everybody asks, every guest that I have on, I mean, how did this all happen for you? How, you know, where did you come from? And
where did you come from? Where did you go?
Where did you come from? You know what? Listen, I'll give you the Reader's Digest story because so many people know the story. I was in prison, and my parole officer, it's an adorable lesbian. She said, "You need a job in order to get your kids back." I'm like, "I don't want them," but they make you take it out. It's a real problem with the law, and I would totally like march with a sign if a lesbian made one, and it would say like, "Don't kids, gross, whatever." But yeah, so I got out of prison, and my parole officer said I needed some sort of a job, and so she suggested that I start selling Tupperware, and I'm like, that's for old ladies. And she said, no, it's great. And then you can like go into people's living rooms. I'm like, I can't do that because of the restraining order. And she's like, I got this. So she lifted the restraining order. I started going to people's living rooms. And then this lady at my first party, she's like, would you like a cocktail? I said, oh, I shouldn't. I'm working. She's like, it's a party. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm staying. This is the best job ever. So I started doing that in 2001. And then a friend of mine who's a director in New York brought me to New York and said, well, let's put this together as a show. So we put it together as a show. We ran it in a little theater festival out there. And then it ended up moving off Broadway. And that's when Alex Timbers, who directed Pee-wee on Broadway, also but I did a couple of years before Pee-wee did it. I did my show in New York, and then that led to a run on tour. So I started the tour in 2008, and the idea was we'd probably get maybe a year, 2 years out of it. 12 years later, the only thing that stopped the show was the fact that the pandemic hit. So I've been in theaters, now all over the world. I've been to places I didn't even know had food. Canada. And so it's crazy. And then I did a second show with about 2014. I did a second show called Never Wear a Tube Top While Riding a Mechanical Bull, and 16 other things I learned while I was drinking last Thursday. And so that went really well. And it was doing this in tandem. And then, as you know, and you and I talked about this before, I did a virtual show. I wrote a show, went into a theater in the middle of the pandemic, filmed a whole show, brand new show called Dixie's Happy Hour. So it was a show it was me making drinks, but all the drinks related to a story about my childhood and my past and everything, and this whole show. So I did that during the pandemic, and now people are like, what are you doing? I was like, I'm drinking. And they're like, what are you going to do now? So I created this new show called Cherry Bombs and Bottle Rockets. It's now, normally I would go into theaters and I would do 8 shows a week, 7 shows or 8 shows a week for, weeks in different cities. Now I'm doing single nights. I'm going to the big venue. I'm doing one night in and out, in and out, in and out. Like, when you do that, when you're like on the bed and somebody's like, what are you doing? You're like in and out. So it's the same thing, but in the theater. Can't wait. So that's what I'm doing now.
It's got nothing to do with the hamburgers, but the in and out. But Dixie, I gotta tell you, you questioned us when you said, I don't know why it has lasted this long. I've seen your show, and I gotta tell you something. What a night! I mean,
Thank you, darling.
The audience laughs their asses off, and right now you're going back out right now. Everybody needs the biggest hug and the biggest laugh, and just a night to just let your hair down and just,
or pull it up.
Or pull it up. Put some baby breath in it like you're going to prom.
Yeah.
I agree. And, it's so funny because it's people like you. Like, I know we've talked about this offline, but people like you who have inspired not just me, but generations of people. It's the people like so many of your guests that I've watched week and week and week after week, just that have inspired people and made people happy and made people laugh and made people think somewhat differently. Mm-hmm. That inspiration, I think we need so much. And the one thing that always follows a dark path, a dark patch in our lives, is a renaissance. And I think we are primed for creative minds and brilliant thinkers and wonderful, heartfelt comedians and storytellers to come out and change the way people think. That's always what happens after a dark patch. And I think that we're going to be seeing the same thing coming out. And I, for one, am very excited to be watching all what's coming down the path, what's developing, the people that I'm talking to that are in the arts, what people are thinking about and doing and creating. It just blows my mind, and I'm so excited to watch it all unfold, to be honest.
I'm so excited for the future because, you know, we went through hell this last 2 weeks, 2 years, 3 years.
Jesus, honey, hit the bottle.
You know, and I mean, when this all came about, because I've been around since Lincoln was the president, so I've gone through a lot.
Did you see that show? Apparently, it was to die for.
It was to die for.
Too soon. Too soon.
And don't blame me. I wasn't in that theater, in the Ford Theater, when it happened.
Well, you weren't in the boxes. You were down on the floor because you could afford the good tickets. I don't know why he had to sit up in the box. What the hell's wrong with him?
Yeah, I often wondered why. Yeah. Okay, so anyway, you know, all this stuff that has happened in my lifetime, and of course, you know, we're always tested. We're always tested to see what we can handle. And like you just said, it just makes creative people, and we're all creative. Everybody out there, you know, has something to say about life and the future. And, you know, we're going to be fine, but we have to accept the changes.
Right.
You know, and we always need to do that. You know, it's not a fluffy cloud that we live in our lives, you know?
Because then your butt's all wet if you're living on a cloud. But you said something that I think is very, very important. And I don't think people say this and mention this enough. Everybody's creative and everybody has something to give. And I think people like us see that in people, but most people don't see it in themselves. And I think that is one of the saddest missed opportunities with so many people is people think, oh, I'm not good enough. I don't have anything to say. I don't have any point of view. I don't have anything to contribute. And you're like, oh my God,
yes,
everybody has something amazing. And when you operate at your best self, when you do find ways to contribute, the world benefits. You benefit obviously because you're contributing something, but the world benefits. And so I always try to encourage everybody, play harder, do more, have more fun, show things that are better about yourself, because then people can't be frustrated. They can't be angry with each other. They can't have the sort of division if you're contributing and you're playing at your highest level and showing your best self. And I wish more people felt that way. And I love that you brought that up because I think it's so valuable for people
to when I'm asked that, I just say, stay focused on one great thought that you have.
Right.
And you'll make it happen. You really will. Come on. I came, and so did you. You know, we didn't come from rich families. And
I'm glad you finished that because you said I came, and I'm like, well, so did I. All right.
Well,
I mean, we all did at one point.
Really slow, and yeah, I know it's dangerous just to listen to me because every word I try to think about what I'm about to say, you know, and so. Where were we? What were we talking about?
You were telling her that you came.
That we didn't necessarily come from means. We didn't necessarily come from wealth, but we brought our best selves to the table. I'll tell you exactly what you're going to say. We are better people.
No, but yeah, how many other different jobs did you have before you discovered this explosive
I did. I mean,
talent?
I did very little stuff. I mean, I ended up like my mama ran like co-managed a strip club for a friend. So I had a summer job there one time, and I was the one who had to clean up the stage between numbers. And you know, I was young, but I had to get rid of all the props. And let me tell you, if you are a stripper that needs a prop, you're doing it wrong. So that like I did that kind of stuff, and I helped like count the ones and disinfect them at the end of the night, stuff like that. So I didn't have like a lot of jobs. It wasn't until I started doing Tupperware that everything's kind of changed for me because I've been doing it now 21 years. Isn't that crazy? I've been selling creative plastic food storage solutions for 21 years.
What is the oldest piece that you have? Have you collected Tupperware too?
I do, Cal. I do collect Tupperware, and I've had a lot of wonderful people that have come to shows that have given me. I wish we'd have talked about this before because I would have had stuff prepped and ready. But I've had people that have given me vintage pieces, but I've also had vintage pieces are somewhat easy to find these days because there's eBay and everything. But I have a couple of things. Somebody gave me their mother's original green. It was a suitcase that you would put your Tupperware products in as a demonstrator, and they don't make that anymore now. You have this little, fabric bag that you get that you can take stuff with. But I have one of the original suitcases from the original, when people would demonstrate it. I have this great picnic set from the 70s that somebody had given to me, perfect condition, mint condition. I actually opened it up online when somebody sent it to me, and I started opening it and taking it all out. I almost left a wet spot on the chair. I was so excited because it's the best thing that's ever happened to anybody.
Hey, you know what, Dixie? I mean,
Yeah.
I go back to vaudeville and burlesque, and the beginning of.
You should see his routine.
No.
I can imagine your
listen to
leg
this.
is real bendy.
And
you put it all the way up.
there were very few women that were comics, in vaudeville. Yes, there were, but there was a guy named Jimmy Donahue. Jimmy Donahue was the heir to, oh my God, Woolworths.
Oh, wow.
The Woolworth there.
Okay.
And he took me to a club in New York. It was called the Blue Angel. It was in the early 50s. And there was a woman we never saw anything like it, was Carol Burnett. Amazing. I saw her in a little club in New York. He didn't discover her, but he discovered her talent and wanted me to go and see. I never saw anything like it. This is the early 50s.
She's a genius. I mean, we'll talk about in the same way that you informed generations of people. Similarly, Carol she just made so much joy for so many people for so long. And that's I'm talking about it like she's not here. She's just locked in the basement. But but that's amazing that you got to see it at the very beginning. That is so cool.
And Martha Ray of course did movies too. But Martha Ray, I knew her when she had a club in Florida. This is the 50s too, the early 50s. So and we used to, every time I'd play Florida, I'd go out with her to different clubs on her night off or whatever. That was another one. Phyllis Diller, oh my God. And Joan Rivers, and so it just, people were searching. And it was so unusual to see a woman comic, right. And I don't mean a woman comic that's filthy or anything like that. You know what I mean?
Right.
That,
they were
like Carol Burnett.
People.
Yeah, was just
brilliant.
Unbelievable. So, I put you in that category because I got to tell you, I have to tell you something again. Nice. The audience out there, if you ever see in your city, Dixie is coming to your city, oh my God, don't walk, run and get a ticket.
Like run, trip over people, push people out of the way, especially if they're young. Push them down in the traffic. It doesn't matter.
No.
You are so kind. You fill my heart so much. That's the nicest thing in the world. To hear it from you. I mean, I grew up running away from my mama, sitting in front of the TV, watching my age, I was watching the Saturday morning stuff. I was watching, I had a whole Saturday morning of Electro Woman and Donna Girl and HR Puff and stuff and Sigma Sea Monster and Lost in Space, all these things, or Lost Saucer, all these things, that came out of your mind. And I didn't, Lord knows I would have met you all these years later, but
thank you.
I mean, you informed everything. Ruth Buzzy to this day is one of my favorite people, only because I saw her on your shows. And I'm like, she's hilarious. I love her. Like, people like that informed me as a person, and it's all because you did stuff. And then you were like, you know what, let's get the Bradys together and put them in prime time and make them dance. Jesus Christ. It was like watching Richard III, but with comedy. It was just so smart.
But I also have to tell you and the audience out there, Puffin Stuff, The Bugaloos, Lidsville, uh, Sigmund and the Sea Monsters. Then came Land of the Lost. That I definitely had a lot to do with. But all those other shows that you mentioned, and there were others, they there was a studio called Ruby and Spears, and they did animation, and they had all these properties because, I mean, come on, it's so much work to try and come up creatively with a series, a show
Sure.
that really, really works. And it's not that I was burnt out or anything like that, but I was also doing the puppet shows at
Yeah.
Six Flags. And I got to tell you, it's not like having 20 dancers and you bring in a choreographer, and they
Right.
choreograph your idea. I mean, a puppet show is like a nightmare,
Yeah.
because it takes a good solid year to do a 25-minute show. I directed them. I did the music. You have to build the puppets,
Right.
and and you wanted whatever your vision was, and you wanted them to do. That's
And for those who need to
unbelievable.
read more about it, get your book because
Oh
the
my
book.
God, Puffin
Oh,
Stuff.
honey, are you kidding me?
Wow,
I love this book. I have read this book and just like gone through everything in it so many times, like it burned in my mind because I have all the references for it. So I'm going through it and going, oh my God, look what he did, look what he did, look what he did. And so for those of you, those people don't understand, are on the feed and do not understand the depth to which you worked and how fast you had to turn stuff around, pick the book up
yeah.
because this book has so much great information about your story of what you did and how much you worked because I don't know how you ever stopped to take a breath or a pee break.
No,
You
I
had sex
never
with a lot of
worked at
people.
Dixie. I never really worked a day in my life. I mean, to be honored, both of us, to be given some kind of talent that the audience out there will accept, and wow, and get paid for it.
It
That's
is it,
not work.
It's true.
That
They always say, the only thing that's work is when you're having sex with somebody and it's really bad sex and you have to get through that 7 minutes and
yeah.
be like, yay. When you have to fake it and you'd be like, oh, this is the best thing that's ever happened. And you're just like waiting. And then there's somebody on the other side of the door waiting to get in who's so much better because,
Well, and you can't wait to read that book until you tell them to get the hell out.
thank
I mean, that book, I mean, you must have more important things to do with your life than read the
you.
Puffin Stuff and all that other stuff. I mean, wow. You
Do you
need
know
to.
what I do? You know what is important? I haven't shown you this. I got a one of these this wine advent calendars. Oh my God, this is the best thing that's ever happened. So at the holidays, you know how Jesus died or whatever. I can't remember the whole story, but then they're like, oh hey, when you're looking forward to his death or birth or something, it's. And we celebrate him so many times a year, it gets confusing, obviously. And so they're like, but now instead of an advent calendar where you open it up and there's like chocolate in it or nobody cares, these are little mini bottles of wine that you pull out and look. And then so what you do is you pull them out and you're like, oh my God, it's like Jesus is in my mouth. Happy Christmas or whatever. But I got it in January on the discount rack in the front of the Target. And so I was like, how did I miss that? I'm in Target all the time. But so I got it. So it's like Jesus at a discount in January. So I did my Not So Sober January with this. And I don't know, like this is almost, not quite, almost as good as reading your book. Because this one is like you put it in your mouth as well. And I can't put your book I could put your book in my mouth, but the taste is very different. And so I've been doing this, but I'm behind. And so every day, in fact, that's probably one today. Today, I'm only on day 11. I got to find it. They put it in different orders just to screw you up. It's like math, but not. And so I'm going to celebrate with you. I'm going to pop out 11 because I've already been drinking 10.
You're going to have a hit. Hey,
Oh, okay. So
listen. Hey, wait, it's
it's almost kickoff time.
No,
We got to stop. Oh, well, then it's a perfect time to open up day 11.
So just so you know, I don't drink often, but I went to the liquor store and bought these tiny bottles, which they're of wine.
Gallo.
Yes, But wait,
Yes.
it gets way worse. It gets even worse. So they have them behind the counter. So you can't even like, they're in a fridge behind the counter.
Oh, yeah.
And so I said, give me that 4-pack of that, because at least if I drink half of one, I'm not wasting. It's in plastic. Who
Of
puts
course
wine?
it is. Because if you drink professionally and you're drunk enough to get small ones and put them in your purse, you don't want to break them. That's why it's in
No,
plastic.
they go like this. They don't even go in your purse. They're just like that.
And you know what
I
else
gotta
they go to?
Real fast, I got to tell you, when Phyllis Diller came to my house, you know, many times, she brought the little bottles, you know, from the plane. She,
Right.
yeah, because she knew I don't. There it
Here,
is.
see, I got him a Jägermeister.
Oh, that's the same stuff I serve the kids. I love
Yeah.
that stuff.
It's the 90s. I was going to get like an Old English, a 40 of Old E, because they're like, you know, it's Snoop Dogg today for halftime.
Wow, look at, there's a big commercial on about
Something.
uh,
Jurassic Park?
Jurassic Park or whatever.
Oh,
I'm
there's
looking at
another
the
Jurassic
TV.
Park movie?
There's another
Looks
one.
like it, unless they're well, you know, you
No,
never
it
know,
is.
because they could
I'm
be
so
advertising
behind.
like
I
cough syrup.
literally am so behind.
No, it said this summer.
Oh, there you go. It
So-
is.
I
Okay.
can't wait. Okay, so anyway, she knows that I don't drink or have any booze here, just wheatgrass juice. So she
Right.
brings her own, she brought her
I
own
appreciate
booze.
that. You should bring your own to wherever you go. Because if you've ever been at a party and somebody's like, there's no booze here, and you're like, wow, they're like, it's a kid's birthday party. You're like, what does that have to do with anything?
Yeah.
You always should bring your own.
Well, can you imagine dealing with all those kids? You better be pissed drunk. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Oh.
Yeah, all the kids
Kids are-
screaming, trying to.
And you dealt with them all the time. You
Oh.
made money from them. I mean, I don't know.
Right.
They don't have jobs. I don't know how
Always
they make money.
trying to break the piata or
The
whatever.
piata.
Yeah, the
And
piata.
maybe you.
Is that what you call it?
Oh, yeah. And here's the silver one. I
Pinata,
believe that.
pinata, whatever. You know,
Honey,
you have a baseball
He hasn't
bat.
even drank yet. It's a pinion
listen,
piata. You want
we've
to break
all-
the piata?
broken the piata or whatever.
Yeah.
We've all done it.
Pinata.
Oh, now
Okay,
you corrected, of course.
okay.
All right.
So you're gonna hang out, and we're gonna look at a little bit of the game,
I
right?
will. Now, I don't have the game here, so I'm just going to be sitting here drinking while you're doing it because I don't have anything to watch it on. So
That's
I'll
okay,
just-
because you're gonna just stare at your phone, and we're just gonna watch the kickoff. 'cause
Now
it's-
watch
that's
this.
most of my
Oh,
life.
look, The Rock is on.
I have to figure out how to
Okay,
like.
how to do
Here we
this.
go. There we go. Look
Oh,
at that. It's like magic.
How did you do that? How'd you flip it around?
Okay,
Is he
put the
doing the?
sound on.
What
She's
is he
gonna
going
put-
I have
on
to put
about?
the sound on.
Oh, he's singing. God bless.
Oh,
Is he singing? Oh, good for him. How fun.
Look at everybody. It is so hot there.
Time for a team to unleash a soul-crushing, unrelenting
Oh,
defense.
he's not singing, honey. That's not what songs sound like.
Right here, right now, ladies and gentlemen, the champions of the NFC, your Los Angeles Rams.
Wow.
yay!
People are
Do you
running on
think
the
The
field.
Rock works out? Look at his arms.
I know. It's crazy. Hey, look at
They're
that. Oh my
big.
God. And he's got a maroon top and cranberry pants. Those colors don't match.
Oh, we've got to watch the Academy Awards together and watch all the fiasco
Oh, that would be
outfits.
fun. Okay. I love Dominic on your feed is saying a lot of the pinata.
Oh, look. Oh, I thought it was puffing.
I love your friends that come on here. It's so funny. I'm going to have to go back through the feed and look at everybody's stuff that they said because I can't even see it.
Wow, the Bengals.
That's okay. I sit here and I watch them.
It is time for
There's a lot of people in there.
100,000.
Wow.
The cheapest ticket is how much?
Oh, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know.
Where in LA is the stadium?
It's in LA. It's
Okay. Radio Wasteland, I love you for what you just said. This is so much better than the Super Bowl. Watching us, that's so sweet.
we're only gonna watch the kickoff, and then we're gonna turn this phone right around. But you know, this is so important to keep people entertained.
Wait, Lisa Renteria just asked. She said, "Please answer my question," but we didn't see what question you asked. Lisa, ask it again. You know, I'm going to end up having to drink white wine without ice. It's not chilled. How sad
Wow,
is
look
that?
at all the
This is
questions.
called roughing. Roughing, and I'm practically camping.
Inglewood. There you go.
Inglewood.
It's Inglewood. That sounds lovely.
That's where the Rolling Stones did a concert there, and everybody I talked to, I didn't go that night. It took them 3 hours just to get out of there with their cars, and it was just so unorganized to get in and out. But they've worked all that out.
Oh, that's good, because there's nothing worse than sitting somewhere in your car and then people are passing you by, so you can't do anything like have sex or masturbate. Lisa just asked a really good question, and everybody's so sweet. Thank you for all your nice words. Wait, now I can't find the question. She said, Lisa said, how do you be your best self when you have people sucking your energy away? That is a very good question. First of all, give me your answer, Sid, because I want to hear that. If you have people that are sucking your energy out, but you know you're valuable, you know you have abilities, and you have people that are just taking them away, what's your advice? What's your suggestion for that?
What?
How do you be your best self if you have people taking all your resources and energy? Thank you.
Well, my whole life, I've always weeded out those kind of people. You know, I just, the level of my energy has always been real low. And, you know, I don't even have a doorbell at my house. You know, I don't like the sound of, and my animals don't either. There's music playing all day in the background, and it's just, you know, I don't even know how to answer that, because people say to me, "Hey, Sid, you never change." Am I supposed to? I've always been the same about my energy, and I try to make people as comfortable as possible, you know, and it comes from my heart. It's not made up, or, you know, and people love to come to my house because they feel it lets all the air out of the craziness, you know, behind us. And I love my space. You know?
Yeah.
Did that answer any of that?
Well, and I think you make a really good point. I think a lot of people, and this is sort of my answer with Lisa, a lot of people will fall to the people that are the vampires, the energy suckers, and there are a lot of them. But you got to give yourself first. And so what I do for me, and it's exactly what you're saying, you put yourself in a position, you put yourself in a state, you put yourself in so that there's always good coming in. If you are basically feel like you're starting from scratch, you've got to do even little things. If you get up in the morning, Mel Robbins, who is this great coach, and she's got a show, I think her show is still on, but she's got a thing called the 5-second rule, which I love, which I heard about, and I was like, oh my God. So I read her book, and she likens it to like a rocket going off, where they go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then she takes action. If she's ever in a moment that feels like she's stuck, that feels like nothing's working right, that feels like she's getting overwhelmed, she will literally count down, because when you go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, bam, at that moment you have to change your state, literally change your physical state, get up, move, do something, change your environment, change what you're looking at, change what you're focusing on, and then you can't. It helps you to not get sucked out into that bad place.
Well,
it helps you to go, all right, I'm going to take action. And when you take some sort of action that is for yourself, then you're going to do something better. Then you're going to cut off those things that are starting to zap your energy. It's hard, and it becomes a daily practice. You have to do it all the time. It's not just one time and it's done. But the more times you practice it, Lisa, the more times you do stuff that are going to focus on you, so you can find your best self and your best energy. And then you start to surround yourself, like Sid is saying, you start to surround yourself with things that inspire you, music that inspires you, situations that inspire you, your surroundings inspire you, things that put you to your best self. It's a daily practice to make those things a reality, but you got to start small. And I know it seems like people are always out there sucking your time and sucking your energy. So you've got to cut them off. And even if it's your family, even if it's people around you, remember, you're part of the equation. You're engaging with them. So if you take a little bit of your engagement away, then they can't zap your energy if you're not playing along. I hope that makes sense. Does that make sense?
No, of course it does. you know, we all have to share people's problems because
Right.
they need someone to talk to, you know, when they have a problem. But there are people out there that want to pull you into their bucket of shit, you know, and, you know, we all have enough to deal with without, you know, yes, we can help them by just giving them our experience in life.
Right.
You know, that's all
Right.
we have. We don't have the answer. Nobody does.
Nobody
You
does.
know, no. But we can tell them if we had that experience, how we dealt with it. And, you know, and they have to, and if we worked out that problem, then maybe they should listen
Yeah.
and you know, and go take that path. But
Yeah.
yeah.
And my favorite
It's,
book is The Four Agreements. Have you read The Four Agreements?
I have. There's
And
like
that's another
agree to
one.
leave when the sex is over. Agree that somebody else is going to bring the bottle of wine, and even if it's crappy wine, you're going to be like, "Thanks, that's nice." And then there's two other agreements that I don't think I'm allowed to say on public, but I agree
Safety
to all
word,
of them.
always a safety word.
Oh, honey, a safe word is the best thing that you have. There's literally a whole section in my new show about safe words. That's so funny that you said that. I think everybody needs a safe word, and the reason is not so that you can necessarily get out of sex when it's weird. Because if you have a safe word, that means you are at least trying to engage in parts of your life that are going to take you to the limit where you need a safe word. And I think that just gets you out of your comfort zone, right? Now, Sid, I'm assuming you have a safe word, right? You know what a safe word is, right, Sid?
No, not really.
Oh,
What is a safe
see, this
word?
is why we do Sundays with Sid, because it's an education for everybody.
No,
Yeah, it's
All
like
right.
church.
don't put the pressure on me.
I'm not going to put the pressure on you. I'm going to give you some instructions so that you can come up with a safe word. So the next time you're doing something on a pogo stick upside down, you're going to be able to say it. So a safe word is a word or phrase you use when you're engaged in sex and somebody's pushing you outside your comfort zone and you feel like you want them to stop. So you want to say a word or phrase that you normally wouldn't say during sex in order to make it go, oh, you know, oh, okay, this is the limit. So for
Dixie.
you, it would be like Florence Henderson. It would be something like that would make you.
But Dixie, I'm 92 years old. What are you talking sex with me for?
I don't
Send
know if
me a
you've
picture
seen.
when you're 92, and
Listen,
you'll see if
I
if
know what
it,
a man with a lot of puppets does behind the scenes. Don't talk
really
to me like you don't know.
that you can
Is
get.
that where the sock puppets
But
started?
wait a minute, you can get splinters doing that. What are you talking about?
You can get splinters. That's why you got to bring sandpaper to the party. I'm just saying. There's always
Is that
a
the
solution.
safe word? Sandpaper?
Say it for it. No, I you like so everybody has to have a safe word in case you got to stop sex for like something that's got to cross the line. Now I have a safe word. I've just never had to use it because I've never had to stop sex because somebody's crossed the line. I've had to stop sex, but usually it's because they're not very good at it and they need me to explain to them what they're doing wrong because I don't want my hip hurting for like the next week. So then it's a whole other thing. So that's not so much safe word as it is like Jesus Christ. Let me get the sock puppet and show you what you're doing wrong. That's a different thing. Totally different. You know, so you know about that. You know about that.
What? There you go. Just putting all the pressure again on me. I'm just a quiet person. I live up at the top of a hill.
Hey.
I cannot hear the stadium. I can just see the roof of it from my house. So
Can you really?
Yes.
I can.
Oh,
yeah.
that's amazing.
Well, I mean, when you come to LA, you know, you've got to come and visit because
I will be there.
and just tone down a little bit.
Yep, you got to tell them your safe word when you first get here.
That's
Okay.
right.
Yeah.
And
Too much fun. You got to have the safe word.
you know what I mean? It's okay to talk that fast in shit-kicking country, but when you come here, you've got to just calm down a little bit.
I know people always say I talk too fast, and I don't understand what they're saying about it. You know, what are you gonna do? Yeah.
So
I'm drinking a warm white wine. This is how much I love you, Sid.
So am
I've
I.
sat
Look.
here and
A
look.
warm white wine.
Warm white wine. That is the title of my
In
third
plastic.
book. Warm white wine.
In plastic.
Warm white wine in plastic. Might as well just kill yourself. That's what that is.
I think I am by drinking this.
everybody out there, nothing has happened yet. I'm watching the TV set. I mean, nobody has scored. When
Well,
they
what was-
score, we'll go back to the
When
television.
they
Have
score, we'll
even
say our
started
safe
yet?
word.
What was The Rock even doing? What was he saying? He was like, in 2 minutes time, we're gonna do a thing. I was like, what is he saying?
Well, this is the game. You know, I saw 50. What is this? The 56th. I've seen 55. You know, Super Bowls.
Wow.
And wait, what about halftime? You know,
We're tipping 40s to our homies
I
today.
mean, come on, halftime's going to be all. It's hip hop, you know.
My
And,
favorite what was your favorite halftime show? Tell me that.
Well, the first real big one, and the ratings went through the roof. I think it was maybe the first halftime show was Michael Jackson, and that was like, we never saw anything like that. No, that was amazing. Today, Snoop Dogg, Dr. Dre,
Right.
Eminem, and Mary J. Blige.
Oh, I saw a TikTok today, and it said, all you kids are gonna find out who your parents really are at halftime. And it was everybody singing Dr. Dre, and I was like,
Seriously, if your parents know any of them lyrics, or they're just gonna sit there like, what's going on?
No, it's going to be an amazing halftime, you know, because they've never had hip hop halftime.
No, I think it's, you know what, and that's what's so fun. Like, let it be a little different every time, because you never know. There's tons of people in this country, and let them all see something fantastic. And even if they've never seen it before, it's called an education. I remember my very favorite halftime show was Beyonce. And in the middle of the show, Destiny's Child popped out of the floor and joined her. The other two, and I was like, I have never heard a gasp like, "Ma!" People lost their damn mind. They're like, first of all, who's popping out the floor? Because if you've ever been coming home really drunk late at night and somebody comes out of your floor, like that crawl space that I have underneath, that is always so scary, because you're like, oh my God, did I kill him all the way? Or like, you ever like see one of those Christmas cards that it looks like the family's posing like this, and the kids have that look on that terror hostage look on their face, like they just rescued me from the crawl space. I've been in there for 2 months. Send help. Blink twice. So there's always that scary thing when that happens. But no, when they popped out the floor and it was Destiny's Child all together, I thought that was so much.
No, I remember that. That was one of the big highlight. Halftime. No, there's been many great ones, you know.
There have been. And what was the one before Michael Jackson? It was like 6 mimes just doing this. I'm in a box.
No, I think before Michael Jackson, I don't even think they had a halftime. I might be wrong, but everybody out there is going to give me that information.
Yeah, somebody's going to Google search this shit right now, and you're going to learn. So,
Alexa,
when was the first halftime show for Super Bowl?
Somebody just said Prince. Prince had a great halftime show too. That was phenomenal.
Great.
According to Influangelist.com, since the very first Super Bowl in 1967, the championship football game has always included a halftime show. By the way, an Amazon package was delivered to you.
Alexa, shut up.
Oh my Lord.
By the way, Amazon
knows too.
You know, I asked her what is Sid Croft's net worth?
Hold on,
Alexa, what is Sid Croft's net worth? This is how much she knows.
Here's something I found on the web. According to Wikipedia.org, in 2007, he had a net worth of $3 billion US.
Bitch, I want some money. $3 billion?
Can you imagine all the prostitutes that I'm going to hear from?
Honey, and you've got like a eucalyptus plant and a bunch of gourds in a pot behind you. That's $3 billion.
Don't ever, everybody out there, don't ever listen to Alexa.
Oh my Lord.
If I had that kind of money, I would share it with every single one of them.
My friend Terry that's on here just said, she's like, oh my God, it's true. The amount of crap that comes out of there. Sometimes you Google things and you're like, oh, that's amazing. And then sometimes drunk Alexa is like, I think I read it wrong, this, maybe that. I'm like, does she know how to read and interpret details and data?
Should we ask? Let's ask her about you. Alexa, tell us about Dixie Longate.
Oh, no.
Here's something I found on the web. According to healthcareguys.com, Dixie lives in Phoenix, Arizona, and is the proud mother of 3 beautiful girls and wife to a wonderful husband.
None of that's accurate. None of that. I don't. No.
Dixie,
Well, I love that it's like healthcare.gov gave her.
Dixie, you need to get that cleared up, or you need to sue her ass.
I do. Well, now somebody just at Radio Wasteland just ask Alexa what her safe word is. See what she says.
Oh, Alexa, what is your safe word?
I like the word brouhaha.
See, okay, I'm going to tell you. That's a terrible safe word because someday you'll be having sex and be like, oh, and he's going to be like, yes, more. Okay. That's too close to something that you could misconstrue to make you want to have more sex. So that's not good. No.
As a brouhaha.
Okay, so far.
Somebody got a touchdown.
Who did? No.
Oh, LA.
Oh,
okay.
LA. Wow, it's 6-0.
There you
Yeah.
go.
LA.
I don't even know who's playing. Ariel asked Michael. So Michael Jackson was this halftime Super Bowl in '93. Was that what you asked? No, we were asking if that was the first of the halftime shows, and if not, who before Michael Jackson were the big people that did halftime shows? Because
I think Michael Jackson. Why I think that was like
maybe it was the first like big real halftime show.
Yeah.
Iceman TD said, I need to add Google to my comedy list. What does that mean? What does that mean? Do I have to get on Google and have it? Or do I need to just talk about Google more in my stuff? Because I can talk about Google for a long time. I have a friend. It was so funny. I have a friend who lives in LA and he's he's one of my favorite people, but he's really, really bad at like Amazon. And so I was visiting him one time for a couple of days, and he said, oh, I need a roll of toilet paper. And he's just he has the mentality of like, I'm super rich and I don't have time for any of this. So he went to Amazon and just put paper towels. And then he clicked the first one that was there. It's like, done. And I was like, no, I don't think you have to do that. And 2 days later, a pallet of 60 rolls of toilet paper. Paper towels. I was like, you don't even have anywhere to put this. He's like, didn't think they would be that many. I'm like, did you read the description? He's like, no, I just picked the first one. I was like, what the? No, that's not how this works. So to this day, he still has paper towels. I mean, it will be most of his adult life that he'll be sitting there trying to sop up shit because he's got all these incredible. He just got too many of them because he did. And then, oh my God, that was so funny. He needed a mending kit because he was going somewhere and he had a seam in one of his shirts that was kind of split. So he was like, oh, it's mended. I'm going to go and do a little search. And so he found a mending kit. But in order to get, I think there's a thing on Amazon that you can get it delivered like immediately. It's not Prime, but it's like the next level up where they'll deliver it within like an hour or something. And so he selected that, but you have to have $25 of purchases to get that to happen. And that little mending kit was like 13. So he's like, oh, I got it taken care of. I'm like, what did you do? And he's like, I ordered something else. He ordered like a little 13-inch dolphin figurine thing. And I'm like, what the hell is that? He's like, well, it was $13. It was enough to get me over the edge.
Hey, Dixie.
I'm like, what is that for? It was
Dixie. You know what? That story, I got to tell you something. I don't have to go to bed tonight. That gave me 8 hours sleep. That was like, it didn't have a big punchline.
It did.
It did?
It did.
Do you
it's
think?
because she and I are drinking and you're not. That's why.
That's what it is. That's what it is. It's all about how much you drink when you're having conversations with you, because otherwise, you know.
Yeah. See, I've spent most of my life as the sober person, and now you get to be him or me.
You know what? Running into Kelly was one of the best things that's ever happened to you.
Oh.
I know you're famous and you do puppets and shit, but that woman is so wonderful.
Oh, I keep saying it. Everybody out there needs to have a Kelly.
Yes.
I mean, Kelly is the nicest, oh, the most intelligent, everything, all
so
wrapped into
I
one
have a
beautiful
version of Kelly.
package.
I have my tour manager named Michelle. So Michelle is my Kelly. And someday Michelle and Kelly are going to meet and they're going to implode.
We're going to just have the biggest hug.
Oh my God, you're probably going to just change the space-time continuum is what's going to happen. It's going to be like, it's like the record will scratch and everybody will be like, what's going on? So, and I have never officially met Kelly either. We've only ever communicated through, digital devices like a phone or an iPad or a vibrator. And so we haven't gotten the opportunity to actually meet each other in person. So at some point, we're all going to get together and we're all going to like.
Are you coming out here at your show?
Yes, at some point we're working on getting the schedule together right now. So at some point I will be, we just don't have the dates yet. So we're still in the early stages where we've booked about 7 of the markets and we got a bunch of other markets to book. So everything is so different right now because things from before the pandemic are being rescheduled in.
Right.
And so everything is a big, crazy puzzle. And so as things are going, we're getting scheduled in to where there are holes. You know how like somebody sticks you in a hole? They're like, you'll fit in there. Like,
well,
so it's
there
like,
you go. You also have a hole underneath your bed. I mean, all these holes.
well, you got to plug them up. I also got somebody was asking me about Thousand Oaks. My website needs to be updated because I have not updated it since the pandemic. So I was in 1000 Oaks right before the pandemic in February of 2020. And so somebody was saying, oh, you're going to be there. Well, I'll come. And I'm not going to be there. I was there, but I'll be back. But one time, like, have you, because you don't spend a lot of time in Alabama where we have like the hurricanes that blow in. And when you do, all of a sudden you have different neighbors because the hurricane blows the trailers around. So all of a sudden you're like, what zip code am I in? And then like you'll see a neighbor and they'll be cresting on a wave and then hit the front of your trailer and then they knock off part of it. And it's usually in the front where the baby's room is. And then you have that like difficult decision, like, oh no, when there's a hole in the front of the trailer where the baby's room is, and then like a coyote comes in the middle of the night to grab the baby, do you yell loud enough to stop the coyote? Or do you be like, oh, my neighbors are sleeping, I don't want to yell. So you're like, oh no, don't take the baby. You know how it is. It's like that really kind of complicated.
And that's when the witches show up.
Oh, all the time. Well, thank God I got a cardboard cutout
Hey,
of
Dixie, were you
Loretta.
okay in the tornado? Is your trailer
Kids
okay?
are resilient. Sometimes they're like, oh no, mama, I'm gonna fly away. And sometimes you're like, I don't have time to care. You know how it is when you get up in the morning at 2:30 in the afternoon and you're trying to figure out how it's all gonna work, and you're like, where's my breakfast vodka? And the kids are already supposed to be at school, but they're like, we're doing online learning today, and then you gotta learn them. Oh, it's the toughest thing in the world. I hate it because I don't know. I dropped out in 4th grade, so I don't know all the stuff the kids are learning.
Well, listen to this. George Burns, what did they say?
Hold on. 1987, George Burns, Mickey Rooney, Chubby Checker.
Okay,
For the
first of
halftime
all,
show? That sounds horrible.
And the new kids on the block.
could you imagine George Burns at a halftime show? That is just my favorite thing right now because I want to know what the hell that was. Just him out there in a suit smoking a cigar.
No, he didn't even know where the hell he was in 1987.
That's the funniest thing in the world.
Somebody just posted
What
that.
did he even do? What did he do? Oh my
Oh,
God,
he
that's
was
brilliant.
funny. No.
Yeah, but they're funny, but that's like not, I don't know. I guess maybe because we're so used to like being entertained versus that kind of, like he's intellectual entertainment, which when you're drunk, you don't need.
Oh my God. He's sitting in the middle of like 30,000 people, and George Burns is like, so I got another one, Gracie. You're like, what is that? Really? What is that about?
But
That
he
is
was
the weirdest
he was a
thing.
huge
Oh, thank you
star,
for
and he
whoever
was
just said that. Thank you so much for sharing that. That is the best. Somebody says, ask Alexa. We did, and Alexa just basically told us that I live in Arizona with 3 kids and a happy marriage, and that Sid's worth $3 billion. So Alexa has no clue on anything.
Oh, Lisa. Lisa, thank you so much. Huge fan every single week, doesn't she?
Yeah,
I
she's great.
Oh my God, thank you. Lisa, you gotta come on. You have to come on one of these weeks.
Lisa, when Sid asks you to come, you got to come.
That's right.
Well, us women, it takes a while.
Yeah, it takes a ton. It takes a lot, and nobody ever does it right. And so you got to do it yourself, and then you got to like, oh my God, that's something. And listen, we all owe Meg Ryan a debt of gratitude, but at the same time, she blew it for all of us. So now everybody knows that we fake it.
There
Somebody asked,
are
Iceman asked
shops.
me about Iowa. I'm coming back to Iowa, I think in September, Iceman, to Des Moines. But we're working on it. So just give me a minute. We're going to put it all together. You know how it's like, you got to update your website. Well, Sid, you just don't go anywhere except up to the treehouse and down to the gourd room and up to the treehouse and down to the gourd. So being on the road is just weird because now everything's so different. You know, when you go into a hotel and you're like, who am I having sex with tonight or whatever? And then there's nobody there. That's what it's been like lately. You know.
Poor thing. Okay, we've been on an hour, but I
Wow.
feel like
Yeah.
we haven't.
They're going to turn us off, right?
I don't know. Are they? Or we're
can
going to
only
turn
be
them
on for
on.
an hour. You know, I just want to announce to everybody next week, wow, I'm having Rufus Wainwright.
Holy crap.
Have you seen Rufus? I saw him in London at the Royal Albert Hall. And
Amazing.
oh my God. And then I met him in person at Beverly D'Angelo, had a party. I couldn't wait. And I heard he was there. I couldn't wait to meet him. I'm so excited. Next week, he's going to be on with us. And, you know, he did a concert at Carnegie Hall not too long ago and did all of Judy Garland's music. And of course, everybody out there knows that I toured a national tour with Judy Garland.
Right.
So we got a lot to talk about.
I love that I just became the George Burns of your guests. And now Rufus is going to be like the Michael Jackson of your guests. So we are the halftime shows. Like, I'm the one that nobody wanted to watch, and he's the one that's just going to
I beg to differ.
No,
you are all so sweet.
I'm going to say I hugely, massively beg to differ. You are my favorite of all time.
I
love you so much.
We talk about you all the time and how fantastic you are and how much you need to come and visit us. And
you make me all tingly in my no place. I appreciate all your sweet words, and your guests are so lovely. And I will go back through the feed and look at people's kind of comments, and I'll come, you know, twiddling back on them and say things. I think I know how to use the technology. I might not. So people are saying such nice things. So I want to get back to people and be like, stop it, thanks. But people can follow me. Am I allowed to tell people they can? They can follow me on my on my Instagram. They can follow me, which you just click up on the thing. Which is Dixie Longate, DixieLongate. Rolls off the tongue. It really does. And then I'm on FacePage. I'm on the stuff. I'm on Twitter, but I don't really use it that much, so I don't really have a presence there. But I'm on it. But then I'm going to post all my stuff so people will be able to see on my website, DixieLongate.com. I'll put all the new dates for the shows up. But you're going to see more information about it on the social media because that's where I'll stick all my stuff.
Dixie, thank you. I love you so much.
Honey.
Thank you so much. And for everybody out there, the score is 7-0.
Oh.
Wow.
And nothing's gone on in a long time. It's because it's men playing a game.
Right. See, and what's really more exciting is you and I just sitting here talking smack and then drinking white wine that's warm.
I finished a whole bottle. And
that's because you're an overachiever.
It is true. I actually had my husband drop me off because I knew I was going to just tumble down the hill.
I appreciate that. Listen, that's called good planning. That's what a lady does. She plans.
And when we go off, I'm going to deal with Kelly. She's pissed drunk. Look at her. Oh, my God. Oh,
I'm going to be my own halftime show.
Hey, thank you so much, everybody out there. Love you.
It
was so much fun.
I love you, Sid and Kelly.
You're the best.
And soon.
Yeah. And to be continued, right?
To be continued. You can't get rid of me. I'm like a rash they don't have a salve for.
Well, no. You know what? I'm like peanut butter on the bottom of your shoe that you can't get off. Peanut butter, okay?
Honey, I've got a dog, and that dog will get that peanut butter.
And you know what, everybody? If you have peanut butter Oh no! Wait a minute. No, no, wait a minute. I really screwed that one up.
It's
I'm
Kelly's
like
laugh
gum
that's making this
on
so
the
good
bottom
right
of your shoe, and then you know how to get it off with peanut butter. That's the way. That's what I meant to say.
Thank you,
Okay.
Eloise, for that helpful tip.
Oh God, leave it to Sid Croft. He really
Yes.
Fucks it up.
Somebody just said they want to see Kelly's halftime
love
show.
love you, everybody. They're gonna turn us off, and I love you so much.
I'm gonna be over here at halftime singing Dr. Dre and Snoop Dogg songs
and
for everybody.
Eminem. I'll see
I
you.
love
He's gonna
you,
sing
kids.
Eminem.
Thank you for the opportunity to come on again and share some time with
Come
you.
on. We love you so much. Thank you. And good luck on your tour.
Thank
We're going
you,
to come
darling.
and
I
see you.
appreciate it.
Everybody. We're all going to come.
We're all gonna come. We're all gonna come.
That makes me happy. I love
See
it when
you
people
next
come.
week.
That's the name of your next show. We're all
It
gonna
sure
come.
is. We're all going to come.
Kelly, turn us off before the police come. The police arrest us. Kelly,
Kids are so
push the button. Love you.
love you. Bye-bye.